Hey, welcome back to Brighter Rays. This week we started looking at Proverbs 3, the whole last part of it, starting at verse 27 down to 35. Last time we looked at not withholding good. We talked about always giving what is due. So if someone's due something, and if we have the ability to give good to others, which is what we're called to do as believers, then we should give it to them, as long as we have the power to do so. Now we're moving on to the next part, which is don't plan evil against others. This is probably a good idea, right? We don't want to plan evil. Of course, we know already through our study of Proverbs that we should keep ourselves from evil. We've heard that several times about staying away from evil. We don't want to be around evil. We don't want to follow evil doers. We don't want to be enticed by sinners. And so we've got this already in our minds, hopefully, that evil is something we need to be staying away from. Now, we're going to move on to this part here, and I think we see two main things here in these next verses, because it says, do not say to your neighbor, go and come again, tomorrow I will give it, when you have it with you. Okay, that was actually last time's. And then, do not plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustingly beside you. Right? Don't plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustingly beside you. And so that's what we want to look at and focus in on that verse today. So we should never make a plan to do evil. Now, this should be obvious to us, right? We shouldn't be going around planning. I mean, we don't want to do evil to begin with. So why would I sit around planning to do evil? You know, that seems to be obviously contrary to what we should be doing. If you have your Bible, turn over to Isaiah 32. In verse 7 it says, as for the scoundrel, which is awesome that the Bible talks about scoundrels. As for the scoundrel, his devices are evil. He plans wicked schemes to ruin the poor with lying words, even when the plea of the needy is right. So that's what the scoundrel does. That's what the evil person does. But then the other side of it, which we're learning in Proverbs here, is that but he who is noble plans noble things, and on noble things he stands. So Isaiah agrees with Solomon here in the Proverbs that you ought not to plan evil against your neighbor. That's what scoundrels do. That's what the evil people do, making plans. And Isaiah is specifically talking about those who make plans. They have, they're planning to ruin the poor. So they have money, then they're looking to make more money probably off the poor, and they're lying to them, making those false promises. Even when the plea of the needy is right, they have a need, they have a true need, but then you're kind of lying them out of and tricking them out of what they really don't have already. But on the other side, you have someone who's noble. They plan noble things. They're looking to do good things. That's what their plans are. So you should never make a plan to do evil. You should make a plan to do noble things, good things. That's what we're looking to do. So if we're starting to think we're making plans and it looks like, oh man, this is going to hurt someone, or this is going to cheat someone, or this is going to mislead someone, then those plans need to be abandoned. And we need to ask for forgiveness that we were walking down the evil path. And then we need to start making plans that are noble and good. That's what we want. We're going to stand on the noble things, stand on the goodness. That's what a good person does. Otherwise, we are evil. And everything that Proverbs talks about, all the condemnations, all the curses that are in there, those are ours, and we're doomed. But if we want to be the good, we want to follow God, we want to be wise, we want to fear the Lord, then we should never make evil plans. Pretty simple, right? Makes sense. Number 2 is we should not betray the trust of others. Because that's really the next part of it, right? It says, do not plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustingly beside you. So they're living next door to you, trustingly next to you. And so we should never betray that trust of others. That is not what we ought to do. I wanted to turn over to Psalm 41 here and to get some more teaching on this idea. Psalm 41. And verse 9 is what we're going to look at. Man, my internet is running slow today. So 41 verse 9, it says, even my close friend in whom I trusted, who ate my bread, has lifted his heel against me. Right? My close friend whom I trusted, who ate my bread, has lifted his heel against me. Now, this is obviously applied to Judas, right? This is what happens. This is the way of Judas, which is, not the way we want to go. So if you are going to plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustingly beside you, that's the way of Judas. Obviously Jesus knew what was going on, and he didn't trust him. He didn't trust himself to any man because he knew the heart of men. But your neighbor trusts you, doesn't know that you're planning evil against them, and that's what we should not be doing then. You're betraying that trust. You're acting in a treacherous way. You're being Judas at that point. You go, oh, I hate Judas. Judas is, in the lowest level of hell. The betrayers are there. I mean, that's what Dante had in his Inferno. That's the lowest level of hell. It is to betray your friends. And here, if you do that, you're just like Judas, right? You're like Brutus. And so, you have this idea, is man, that is horrible. These people live next door to you, they trust you, and now you're going to betray that trust, and you're going to plan evil against them. And so the wise man or woman says, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to betray that trust. They trust me here to do what's right, to, respect them, respect our boundaries, respect our property lines, respect their privacy. I'm not planning to destroy them or to steal their property, to steal their stuff, to invade their privacy. I am doing what is right and good in sight of them. I don't want to go the way of Judas. I want to stay away from that. So don't plan evil against others. That's what the wise person does. That's what Solomon is telling his son. Don't do that. This person's trusting you. You trust them. You want them planning evil against you? No, you don't. So do what you would have them do unto you. Don't betray their trust. They're their neighbor. They're living next door to you. Treat them well. Treat them good. So that is our study for today. Come back next time and we will look at don't fight with your neighbors. So we said don't plan evil against them. Now we're going to say don't fight with your neighbors.